We are set for serious negotiations with Ukraine. Their purpose is to eliminate the root causes of the conflict and reach the establishment of long-term, lasting peace for the historic perspective.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has issued a fresh call for peace, proposing a return to direct negotiations with Ukraine. In a rare late-night televised address from the Kremlin, Putin said the talks should resume without preconditions and could start as early as May 15th in Istanbul.
The ceasefire regime has been violated by Ukrainian formations almost 5,000 times. Nevertheless, we consider it a holy holiday to celebrate Victory Day. We propose to the Kyiv authorities to resume the negotiations they interrupted at the end of 2022, to resume direct negotiations, and I stress, without any preconditions. We propose to start them immediately next Thursday, May 15th, in Istanbul, where they were previously held and where they were interrupted.
The Russian leader referenced previous negotiations held in Turkey's largest city, claiming a joint draft agreement had been prepared in 2022, only to be discarded under alleged Western pressure. Putin emphasized that the original talks were not halted by Moscow, but by Kyiv, and added that Turkey's President Erdogan had played a key role in arranging them.
As you know, our Turkish colleagues have repeatedly offered their services in organizing such negotiations, and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has done a great deal for negotiations organization. I remind you that as a result of these negotiations, a joint draft document was prepared, and it was initialed by the Kyiv negotiating team head. But at the insistence of the West, it was simply thrown away. Tomorrow, we have a conversation scheduled with the President of Turkey, Mr. Erdogan. I want to ask him to provide such an opportunity for negotiations in Turkey, hoping that he will confirm his desire to facilitate the search for peace in Ukraine.
Putin's proposal comes just hours after a high-profile visit by European leaders, including UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer and a French President Emmanuel Macron, to the Ukrainian capital. The leaders urged Moscow to agree to an unconditional 30-day ceasefire, warning of harsh new sanctions targeting Russia's energy and banking sectors if it refuses.
It is for Russia, it's for Putin to come to the table for a 30-day unconditional ceasefire, and there must be clear sanctions if he fails to do so. There is real unity on that. We need to be clear that that is one of the main outcomes we want from this meeting of the coalition willing here this morning.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky welcomed the Western show of support, but has not yet responded to Putin's offer.
What is important is that regardless of all the intimidation and messages that came from Russia, despite this, everyone came and showed support for Ukraine. No one is afraid of intimidation. I think this is a very important signal. In addition to the discussions, I think there will be strong decisions.
The Kremlin, meanwhile, maintains that any peace must address what it calls the root causes of the war, not simply pause the fighting. As Moscow signals readiness for talks and Kyiv weighs its options, the spotlight now shifts to May 15th, and whether diplomacy will finally gain ground or if battlefield tensions will continue to escalate.